I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world, and that's our job.
What up, DMV? We getting money whole time, fucking bitches whole time, rapping DC whole time. We getting money whole time, fucking bitches whole time, rapping DC whole time. Your shine whole time, whole time, doing this whole time, whole time, whole time, doing this whole time, whole time, whole time, doing this whole time, man, you're back, whole time, doing this whole time.
Oh shit.
Like a Tribe Called Quest. You say the whole thing.
All right, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back. And this is episode 200 as a podcast. Oh, hell yeah. You know I got that too.
Hey, look at this nigga got sound effects and shit now. This nigga has upgraded.
That sounds like you gotta have the headphones. You gotta be able to hear all this shit.
That's what's up.
What up, Jay? I see Jay just spoke to
JB. Yeah. What's up, fellas?
So as you see, JB is here tonight as we do our 200th episode of being a podcast, of being a pod named Kickback. So when I decided that we were going to do some changes, we was going to do the Kickback Conversation, Kickback Sports, Kickback After Dark, and of course the regular podcast. I wanted to take a week off, regroup, get some things done. When it was episode 200, who should I do episode 200 with? Who should I share this milestone with? I said, gotta call my brother and get his ass over here.
The one that helped you start it all, right?
Exactly. Now we got about 400 or 500 episodes.
Yeah.
As a podcast,
real talk.
Only two.
Real talk. What? God.
I think with 200. That's still a lot.
That's a ton.
Yeah.
Gotta shout you out for being consistent, my brother.
Factory, man. We're gonna go ahead and start, but actually, I want to get some horns. And let me think. So first, we gotta shout out our sponsors. Shout out to Mo's Marvelous Cleaning. Hit up Mo for all your cleaning needs. You get 10% off if you use code Kickbackers. Shout out to mysexroom.net. If you need your toys and your lingerie and all your sexy feel-good goodies, go to mysexroom.net, enter code Kickbackers to get 10% off. And of course, for all your insurance needs, holler at me and J. Lou. That's what it is. Now, finally, welcome to a pod named Kickback. Oh, well, you got to say it now.
Oh,
since you're here. I've been saying it without you having Cat Williams say it. But since you here.
It's a pod named Kickback. A pod named Kickback. It's like a Tribe Called Quest. You say the whole thing.
I'm no breaks new, the righteous ratchet. If you throw it, I'll catch it. If you got it, I'll match it. Every Monday. We right back at it. I am the Black Savage, the Magneto of my people. I added that.
Hello, everyone. Once again, I am JB Frank. I am that gangster geek, as always, representing nerds with attitude. Welcome back to the Kickback, y'all.
Welcome back. So we got a pretty good show for y'all, I think, today.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about Coolio and the BET Awards, this whole thing going on with Trump, Kanye's White Lives Matter, Kodak Black is giving back, this excellent movie, Entergalactic, that we got to just deep dive on, loving someone through their healing or loving someone after they've healed, what's going on in the NFL, the NBA Preseason, my Cowboys beat up on them Commanders, And I'm listening to music out there by Gibbs, Tory Lanez, YG, and Division. First, though, we got to go through our high of the week and our low of the week. You want to start that, JB? You want me to start it?
Why don't you go ahead and start it, New? You know, this is your thing, 200th episode. Yeah, jump in there and talk about your highs and lows.
I'm going to say my high of the week is twofold. I took some me time this week. I just was like, you know what? Well, last week I put in leave. I'm like, I need a couple of days off.
Mm-hmm.
I need mental health days, which I used to take every month. I would take one day just for me. And I haven't done it in a while. It's been on the grind. So I took some mental health days today, and that just felt better. It just re-energized me. It just, made me feel good. Also, another big thing is podcast episode 200. You know what I'm saying?
I can actually hear it with the headphones right here.
So I definitely feel good about that. My low of the week, I haven't had a real low of the week. I just in general, I want to be a little further ahead than where I am, and that's going to linger. But it's going to linger. It's motivational.
It's got you motivated though.
Exactly.
You're going to keep it. You're going to keep it moving. That's actually a good low to have though. That's not a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? My high of the week, I will have to say my high of the week was really just spending a lot of time, quality time with my daughter over the past week. I know, we talk about high lows of the week, but, she had a week off from school during their, fall break or whatever. Okay. And her brother went on a school trip with the rest of the class. And their mom went with, our son. So it was just me and my daughter, for a full week hanging out, chilling, watching our corny ass YouTube videos together and history videos together and just, talking about life, talking about her and, meeting all of her friends and all of that kind of stuff. It really was awesome. Spending time with your kids, especially on a vacation, is like a double vacation, especially because my daughter is 15 right now. So now it's really, really critical for me to get to know her, get to know what she's about, get to know her friends. And so spending that time with her was really, 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 really excellent. For me. My low of the week has been a low for me for months right now, but it's just ongoing. We'll talk about it a little bit later on the show. And it is upsetting me personally. So hopefully when we talk about that, I don't get you guys as angry as I am right now, but we'll break that down a little later. It has everything to do with what's going on in our country right now, though, and how it scares the shit out of me. But we'll get there later.
Yeah. And I forgot to do this, so I'm gonna do it now.
Now, high low. Who wants to go first?
So I got an intro for every segment now.
Oh shit! Okay.
And that's from the movie. The Story of Us. That's where I got high low originally from, the Story of Us movie. But so let's go into our Bible story of the week.
My left stroke just went viral.
Oh, our viral story of the week.
I love it. I love all the technical improvements, man. I love it. This nigga upgraded like shit. I ain't even mad at you. I ain't even mad.
So our viral story of the week, I do want to do a rest in peace to Coolio. It was a little shocking. You just don't expect, a lot of the young rappers, unfortunately, are being killed. It's a war on them. And I don't like it. I don't love it. But I'm also concerned about rappers who are passing away in their 50s and 60s. It's like, damn, because look at some of the rock stars, they living to be 70, 80. Why are rappers dying so young of quote unquote natural causes? I believe they're saying it was a cardiac arrest, but I just want to give Coolio his flowers real quick. First, I was a fan of WC in the Man Circle. Coolio was respectfully, I mean this respectfully. He was the Flavor Flav of WC in the Mad Circle. He had the wild hair. He was the funny one. He was the one you always want to hear say something like, if it's somebody else on the song, I hope it's Coolio on that song.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And then he went solo, hit us with Fantastic Voice, ride, hippity slide. Oh, what's up, Mo? I see you. And then he dropped one of the biggest records in the history of rap music, Gangsta's Paradise, with LV. And that song owned that year, owned the Grammys, owned every award show, owned the radio. Shit, it owned our hearts because that was one of the biggest songs where it's like coming from the heart, dealing with the struggle, dealing with all the shit, trying to make it through. No matter what you was going through, you felt like you was in the Gangsta's Paradise. If you was playing football, I gotta train, I gotta get up in the morning. If you was doing homework, Gangsta's Paradise, nigga. If you was trying to go get that bad chick, I'm in the Gangsta's Paradise. I'm in the struggle, I gotta go, I gotta get it. And at least that's how I took it, JB.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big deal. I mean, he was just an amazing artist. He had an amazing character. He was so lovable, amazing personality. His career got really, really big then, though, because remember that song "Gangsta's Paradise" made its way into like a big movie that came out. Dangerous Minds with Michelle Pfeiffer. That's right. So losing that kind of artist, losing that national treasure is always a tragic loss. And rest in peace. Our hearts and prayers go out to his family and everyone who is feeling this loss more acutely than just his fans.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Rest in peace, Coolio. Also, last night we got to see the BET Awards, and it was pretty good, man. It was pretty good. Fat Joe hosted. There were a lot of excellent performances. They did a tribute to Loud Records, which is basically the 90s of hip hop. So they had everybody come out, Wu-Tang and Havoc and Mobb Deep, rest in peace Prodigy, Fat Joe, of course. It was just a who's who of that era. And even the Clips reunited. Malice and Pusha T reunited for, I think, one of the first times in the last 10 years. And they did grinding. And it just was like, hey! And Yo Gotti's team, they racked up. Kendrick Lamar racked up. And in podcasting, Nori, it was a tie between Nori and Carisha in her new podcast, Carisha Please, which is on Diddy's Revolt. And it felt good to see Nori get his just due. I mean, Nori's podcast, he's had Mike Tyson, he's had Kevin Hart. This week he had Shaq. He's been Kanye. He's been getting the A-list. Issa Rae, Dave Chappelle. He's been bringing A-list guests. And I think he's running the game right now. Joe, my guy, but Nori is running the game. He is bringing you the interviews you want. And he had Patty LaBelle on there getting drunk, nigga. Telling old stories about Luther Vandross. I was like, Nori's the GOAT. Nori's the GOAT. Patty LaBelle like, yeah, I heard y'all be smoking reefer on here. he was like, I'm not going to smoke in front of you, man. She was like, I've been around reefer before. Yeah. I'm not gonna smoke, but you can smoke. She was just telling stories about how Luther Vandross, I'll tell this quick story, was the clothes guy. He had all the boosted clothes. And he was selling her shit, and he was telling her that he wanted to be a single or whatever. And I think she let him do a background vocal or something.
I actually heard that story on another interview. Go ahead though. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Like, that's accurate.
Luther, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he started out as one of her backup singers. That is true. That is definitely true.
Yeah, and she has stories about damn near everybody. I'll tell you this one time, I met this guy and done something, and then he did this and that, and it was Little Richard, whoever the person was. But she has a lot of stories about meeting people and helping people or getting to know people, and then next thing you know, they're just as big as she is or whatever. So shout out to Mama Patty, definitely. And shout out to Nori, and Drink Champs and shit.
Yeah. I mean, these podcasters now are straight up and down journalists. You know,
they're doing the red carpets.
Yeah. Podcast is where you get your news now. It's where you get your updates now. It's where you get your thoughtful insights and opinions, right? So, you know, we're going to see that quality evolve. But the thing that I love about this podcast game is how our people have jumped in on the ground floor with this emerging, you know, industry. You know, we got niggas who basically started this shit, you know, looking at Joe Budden and, you know, some of those others. And so that it's just awesome to see the evolution, man. I love it. Hell
yeah. Hell yeah. Let's see what else we got. Oh, we have our Don't Be Dumb segment coming up, and I think JB will have. No, actually, our What the Fuck story.
Yeah.
And I got the board up there, and look, JB, and I'm still missing shit. But let's go into our What the Fuck story of the week.
It's the mayor. Stay fly, stay high. What the fuck? What the fuck? You know what it is. What the fuck?
Now, this is something that JB was very passionate about and said he definitely wanted us to discuss, and he wanted to really elucidate some things for you guys. I talked to him about it prior, so I'm kind of like, damn, you don't say. What the fuck? And so, JB, I want you to have this, you know, some of the conversation that we had with the kickbackers and let them know what's really going on.
All right. So, you know, the big what the fuck, and he's been a what the fuck for this show for years now. He's been the what the fuck on a lot of shows, but we got to talk about it, man. Donald Trump and what he is doing to the country right now. But what we really want to talk about now is actually how much trouble this nigga is in right now, because he has got four major cases that he is battling in the courts right now, and none of them are going well for him right now. Now, for those of you who might have been living under a rock, or for those of you who are just sick of hearing Donald Trump's name in the news and don't want to listen to that shit no more, and honestly, I understand that, I respect that, but at the same time, number one, the Department of Justice, the DOJ, is going after Trump because he just absconded, walked out of the White House with a shitload of documents. And a good way to draw this parallel is, imagine if you left your job at the insurance agency or wherever you work, and you just decided to pack up your computer in your bag or your boxes and take that shit with you. You know, do you think that would fly? No, of course it wouldn't. Of course, Donald Trump is trying to lie his way out of all of this shit and saying that he declassified them or whatever. But what makes this shit really, 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 really bad, guys, is that he took top secret documents, including intelligence resources on other countries and potential nuclear classified documentation. These things are horrible because you have to ask yourself, why would he want to take those? What is he trying to do with all of that information? Now, they're not saying this shit on the air, but kickbackers, y'all are street smart, right? What reason do you ever have to steal information from somebody else? Unless you to share it and to
share it with me
and make money off of it. That's why you steal information. What is Donald Trump trying to do with all of this documentation? Well, you have to ask yourself, if he were able to successfully secure the presidency again, what would he need to do next? He would need to make sure that foreign countries legitimize his presidency, right? He would need, for example, say Russia, China, Brazil, Italy, Hungary, all who have highly conservative governments right now, to step in and say, oh, yeah, Donald Trump is the president. That election was fake. Of course he's the president. Well, how do you secure those types of support? you give them a little something on the side, you know, maybe a little information that you stole from the White House just to get them on your good side. That's why that's really, really shitty and really, really scary, dude.
Because what will they do with that information?
Thank you.
That is the question.
Thank you.
And that is like when I knew he stole some shit, and I was like, "You're just a weirdo taking shit." And JB was like, "Well, why do you think he took it?" I'm like, "Oh, get the fuck!" He's literally probably with Putin. Putin helped get him elected last time. He's probably like, I lose this election, I'll leave with this stuff. Hey, Putin, take this. This is some shit you need. Help me get elected again. And I think that that's a reality.
Yeah.
That is a reality.
Yeah. Now, I mentioned before that there are 4 cases. That's just one of them. Number 2, New York, the state of New York. They are coming after his ass, and I can't put it no other way. This nigga has been found to overvalue all of his properties in New York so that he could get loans from banks and other organizations based on the collateral of the value of his properties. But then come tax time, all of a sudden those properties are literally worth 30 times less than he stated on those loan documents. So it's fraud. It's just fraud straight up and down. And so because they knew it would be so difficult to go after him in a criminal court, they went after him in a civil court. They're going after that nigga's money. So she filed a lawsuit for a minimum of $250 million.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, humming, coming at you. Right. Number 3, guys, is the case in Atlanta. And this is a case directly related to the election because now they're bringing him up or working to bring him up on criminal charges in Atlanta for trying to influence the outcome of the election in Georgia. What Donald Trump did is he had Rudy Giuliani, a couple of other people, and then he called the Secretary of State for Georgia himself and asked this man to somehow find him 11,700 votes so that he could win the state of Georgia. Now, trying to cajole or bully elected officials into breaking the law for you is against the law. That is also considered fraud. It's considered election fraud. Also, it's just a criminal violation of the election laws of the state of Georgia and of the federal government. And the last one, the 4th one, again, January 6th, insurrection, right? This man, in my opinion, should be tried for treason because he did try and overthrow the United States government. And here's why it's scary, guys. And here's why this is a big what the fuck. Because here's the what the fuck. He still has support of almost half of the country. So I know a lot of you are sitting here watching us and saying, oh man, Donald Trump, he's crazy. He's absolutely crazy. Whatever, that nigga's crazy. No, all of y'all aren't actually saying that, statistically speaking, because in order for him to get support of half of the country, he has to have the support of some of you.
Yep.
I'm gonna say that again. 75 million people voted for Donald Trump in the last election. 82 million people voted for Joe Biden in the last election, which is why he won, basically. But 75 million, that ain't just white people, y'all. That ain't just white men, y'all. In fact, that ain't just heterosexuals. So some of y'all so-called woke people right now are lying and y'all are tripping because y'all are still supporting Donald Trump. So I'm calling you out personally right now. And I'm calling out those who fail to call out the motherfuckers they know in their life who support Donald Trump. It is your job to make them feel as stupid as they actually are, because we are in that much danger in this country right now. I'm just going to leave it at that, New, before I get really, loud and
they're going to say you're fear-mongering, which is the same bullshit they said years and years ago when we were talking about this during the election, the first election when he beat Hillary. And everything we predicted, like I said, when we watched sports, we called it, everything we called came to pass. Roe versus Wade overturned. The crazy voter restrictions, the emergence of this, Antifa and all of these white supremacist groups,
QAnon, the Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers, and let's be real, these are militant. Yeah, these are militant groups. Like they showed up to the Capitol in military gear. It was later found that they stashed weapons all around the DMV in hotels and shit, waiting for shit to jump off. They had cells of people with weapons waiting for the police to start shooting so they could start shooting back. No bullshit. No bullshit. This is fact. This has been found. They talked about this when they tried the Oath Keepers the other day. By the way, that trial is ongoing right now, and they are trying to get them niggas up to 20 years in prison for what they did.
As they should.
Somehow that is correct.
But again, this is a what the fuck, not only because, oh my God, Donald Trump, what the fuck, but America, you still support this man. And I'm talking to you kickbackers, because some of y'all do too. What the fuck? What are we doing? When did it become okay to elect idiots? What are we doing?
It was mind blowing to me. I know. Would you fuck a woman that voted for Trump?
No.
Okay, so I know you wouldn't date her if you wouldn't fuck her, but you wouldn't even fuck her?
No.
Okay, I respect it.
I'd be worried about what that bitch would say I did after we were done. Like all of them, if you believe that there's a Jewish cabal that is out here eating babies and shit, which is what QAnon believes, which is what Donald Trump believes, what are you gonna say after I leave your bedroom? Like, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Well, JB just talked. One of y'all lost some dick. But anyway.
Yeah, I think a few of them need to be run out of some dick. Like, it's bad. Yeah, like this is it's stupid. Like it's stupid, and they are making us enemies, right? So how can you treat somebody who basically has told you you are my enemy? How can you still treat them like a friend or even like an associate or a colleague or
you really can't. You really can't. And yeah, I better disassociate myself from people in real life based on that. And the same thing goes in politics. And speaking of shit that's stupid and that's dumb, it's time to get into the other namesake. We had the Shut Up Stupid Award, and it was named after two people. For one period of time, it was the Kanye West Shut Up Stupid Award.
Indeed.
For another period of time, it was the Donald Trump Shut Up Stupid Award. Then it became the Don't Be Dumb Award, and I'll let you guess who's getting that award after this.
So dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Kanye West.
Goddamn right.
You are dumb. You are so dumb. For real. Did a fashion show in Paris a few days ago where he hooked up with Candace Owens, and they sported their matching White Lives Matter shirts with Juan Pablo II on the front, Pope John Paul II on the front. And people have been trying to make excuses for this. People have been trying to justify it. And quite frankly, I'm sick of you Kanye West supporters. I'm sick of you Kanye West apologists. I'm sick of you Kanye West sympathizers. Okay, he is a black man. He was a rapper / producer, or is. And apparently he's a billionaire. I get it. I don't know what his effect is on you, though. I don't like his music. I don't like his clothes. I don't like his shoes. I don't even get it. But okay, y'all love that shit. Okay, whatever. How do you explain this? Slavery was a choice. I had someone try to explain that to me. Well, you know, what he really meant. I know what the fuck he said. I can't go and dissect what he may have meant to try to make it more amenable to people like me who disagree with it. And wearing a White Lives Matter outfit or shirt and having that be your design, that's done for attention. But for whose attention? Because I don't think he's catering to black people. I don't think he's catering to hip hop. He's catering to them white people. I've never seen anyone want to be accepted by white people so badly. They're not letting me remember the Sway. You don't have the answer, Sway. He was mad because they wouldn't accept him in the fashion world. He was mad that rappers wouldn't accept him in rap music, or they wouldn't accept him in Rockefeller. I've never seen someone so insecure that yearned to be accepted everywhere they go. When he didn't win the awards, a Grammy Award or whatever, he cussed everybody out and went on backstage and Kanye, calm down. There's never been someone who was so desperate for acceptance, begging for acceptance, and you fucking idiots love it. They're online talking about what they say, y'all don't even know who Juan Pablo is. On the front of the shirt, they got a picture of Juan Pablo. Okay, so it's John Paul II. What the fuck they got to do with White Lives Matter on the back? They be swearing like it's some secret code. Kanye is a fucking dick. And the front of the shirt in Spanish was they will follow me. So you're saying White Lives Matter, they will follow me. That's the secret message? That's a dumb message. That's a message I'm not rocking with. That's the message saying basically my interpretation, I'll get the niggas in line. And Kanye don't speak for black people. Kanye don't speak for me. He don't speak for JB. He don't speak for the kickbackers. He has no power. He's at most a figurehead.
Well, he doesn't speak
like Lady
for
Eloise.
Well, yeah, he doesn't speak for me. He doesn't speak for you. He doesn't speak for black people to black people. But he certainly speaks for black people to those on the right who want to listen to a black person who's going to say things that they want. I put Kanye West, Clarence Thomas, and Herschel Walker all in the same goddamn boat, and then I drop a stick of dynamite in the middle of it, so a hole is blown in the middle of it, and it can sink to the bottom of the sea, and they can drown forever. Because these are people who don't understand the implications of what it is that they are actually doing. Because when idiot black people like that stand up and say this stupid shit for black people, they don't actually really sway so many black people as they do sway white people who are kind of on the fence about whether or not the Republican Party is racist, whether or not the right wing is racist, because those people are then allowed to stand up and say, oh, they can't be racist. Look, they got a black spokesman, and they got a black judge on the Supreme Court, and they got another nigger running for Senate, in Georgia. How can they be racist? Well, they can be racist because black people can also be racist. These are basically who is the dude, Ruckus from our favorite show?
The Boondocks, yeah.
Yeah, these are your Ruckuses. And I'm sorry, but it's not that hard to make money. Like, you don't need to become an Uncle Tom to get rich, right?
You don't.
Jay-Z showed us that and painted the picture and made it bright and brilliant for us. You don't need to suck up to white people or feed into this conservative agenda to make inroads into that society. All you got to do is be yourself and be real. And then the real people, regardless of their color, will support you. This whole conservative movement is built atop lies and deception and misdirection. And Kanye West is a huge cog in that engine, a huge cog in that engine.
He wants acceptance more than he wants money. He got the money so that he can be accepted. He wants acceptance. He wants to be at the cool kid table by whatever definition he defines cool kid as, whether it's Rockefeller or on a rap label, or whether it's Nike and Adidas with shoes, whether it's at the Gap, or whether it's in a political party. He wants to be accepted with the cool kids. That's why I say you got to be careful inviting these Bammers around the cool kids. Like, I'm telling you, like, people always get over. I'm like, no, you got to be very careful. That's why I ain't fucking with Bammers. I don't fuck with lame ass niggas. Like, I'm not doing it, because as bad as you want to be at the cool table, as hard as you'll go to be there is as hard as you'll go to get to whatever you can deem the next table, which means you'll shit on whoever you got to shit on to get to whatever the next table is in your mind. And I think that's all Kanye's doing. Mm-hmm. He is trying to get to the coolest of the cool tables, and he's doing a step-by-step. All right, it was with the nigga rappers. All right, well, it's with the fashion designers. Okay, but now it's with the politicians. And he's just doing whatever it takes to appease them. He's not trying to earn his way in. He ain't trying to deserve his way in. He's trying to Tom his way in. He's trying to ass kiss his way in. And people like that, you got to be very, very, very careful of, man. I don't fuck with Kanye. I haven't fucked with Kanye since he said George Bush don't care about black people. And a matter of fact, this is how I feel. Kanye West, now I got to do it like he did on the telethon. Kanye West doesn't care about black people. He sent them down to shoot us because they're looting and trying to buy bread for our family. That's Kanye West. Fuck that nigga.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible. You know, him jumping out there like that, number one, and number two, just the overall sadness of his existence. Like, it's just become like this sideshow, this like literally like this minstrel show right now that we're looking at. Like, it's
the shit with Kim and the kids.
Yeah, like it's just disgusting to look at. Like, this is, I mean, you know, we talk a lot about mental health and how mental health is an epidemic in the United States. But again, when you start raising statistics about mental health and how mental health is a problem in the United States, a lot of people like to believe that it's just poor people, or it's just black people, or it's just people who got COVID, or it's just people who were isolated in the house or whatever. That's not how epidemics are born. Epidemics are born when they affect everybody, all of us. And what you have to do when you look at people like Kanye West is you have to ask yourself, is this man crazy? When you look at people like Donald Trump, you have to ask yourself, like, you literally need to ask it, like, is this man crazy? Not, is this man stupid? Is this man off base? Is this man evil? Is this person crazy? Does this person need help?
And I don't want to say, I'll frame it this way. Mentally ill, because we know he suffers from bipolar disorder and a few other things. So we know he's not mentally stable. But I don't want to shame anybody else that suffers from any of those things, like they're crazy. But Kanye definitely is mentally unhealthy, mentally unstable, and is on medication. So there is no question about his mental health. It's not, he is not mentally healthy. We know this. Yeah. Medically, clinically, we know this. And I also want to add just to the end of that, with this Kanye shit. You gotta stop ignoring the signs because you like a song. You got to stop ignoring the signs because you like
That's
a pair of shoes.
Thank you for putting it that way. That's my point.
Yeah, we got to stop. We got to stop, because then the question isn't how crazy is Kanye. The question then becomes, how crazy are you?
Thank you. Thank you.
I knew I was going to sum that up for you.
I couldn't have. Thank you. Thank you.
And moving on to our Nipsey Hussle Award.
If it's sports, if it's fashion, if it's music, if it's hustling, whatever, you're on a marathon, you know. So,
and somebody who's definitely been on their marathon is Kodak Black. There were, I believe, 63 families, if I'm not mistaken, that were going to be evicted, and he went and paid their rent through, I believe, 2024.
It was 2023.
2023. Mm-hmm. Well, shit, that's a few months from now. But that's still a beautiful gesture.
Well, through 2020.
Oh, through. Okay. Yeah. That's what I was trying to say. That's like next Wednesday or this Wednesday.
Yeah. So Kodak Black, he basically paid rent for these 28 families. It wound up being a total of roughly 60 people who were going to be evicted from their residences or whatever. And he just knocked out their rent for the remainder of this year and for all of next year. I mean, that's just huge.
Yeah, goddamn, we gotta get this man a round of applause.
Mm-hmm.
So, as soon as I find it.
I'm gonna clap for that nigga without the sound effects, because you talk about putting your motherfucking money where your fucking mouth is, and that's just what that is, right? You got assholes like Herschel Walker saying, "Oh yeah, I help all kinds of people all the time," and they don't have a record of a single fucking donation for any charitable organization anywhere in America. But then you got people like Kodak Black who fuck the organizations, fuck the charities. Let's help people. Let's help our people. And that's what he did. You got to tip your hat to motherfuckers.
You got to. Definitely appreciate you, Kodak. And Kodak has said some wild shit. He's not anything against black people, but he's had what I call Kanye moments. Just saying some stupid shit. Nothing about Trump or nothing in that vein, but just dumb shit. And to see him fuck what he said, well, let's watch what he did. And I just appreciate that.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it, man. Great way of looking at it.
And speaking of watch what he did, let's talk about some good shit that you guys can watch.
Netflix and chill. What does that even mean?
It means that you cut on your TV, go to your favorite app or favorite channel, and you watch something good. That's what Netflix and chill means. And the biggest thing that I can recommend to you guys this week on Netflix and chill is Entergalactic by Kid Cudi and Kenya Barris. Kenya Barris brought you Black-ish, she brought you Girls Trip, he brought you Growing-ish. Several of the top black sitcoms Kenya Barris is responsible for. He also is now starting a podcast network for black podcasters. And he executive produced Kid Cudi's cartoon movie, Entergalactic. And I'll just say this, I saw it, I immediately hit JB, like, gotta watch it. You gotta get in the right state of mind. Get in the right state of mind, if you catch my drift. Exactly. Put something in the air and then watch it. I would say it is a hip hop urban love story with a cartoon, mind you, with many twists and turns, with the underlying theme of I like being high. How would you describe it, JB?
It was like a moving painting for me. It was a painting emotion. It was an entertainment experience. Every time I got caught up, with the characters and what was going on between the two characters, then they would go and do something and it would just, So, again, it's a cartoon, so this is all digital, but I will say that the cinematography and the photography in this cartoon was just astoundingly beautiful. Like it was just beautiful to watch. Aside from the fact that, like you said, it's a black love story, which, you can't get too many of those on television, to see our people successful, stable, doing their thing, loving it out, living it out, enjoying life, and to have a nice movie that doesn't deal with gangs or murder or slavery or oppression or, any of that stuff, to just have regular black people doing regular shit and to make it beautiful and entertaining. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, man. It really, and the replay value on this, I think, is extremely high. I think I'm going to watch this, it isn't a total weed movie, but it is to a degree. I think I could watch this like Snoop and Devin.
Oh yeah, Mac and Devin. This is a Mac and Devin movie.
I can watch this shit weekly. Mac and Devin movie. Whatever the crew come over, the ladies come over, or whatever the hell. Oh, we gotta watch this. Put one in the air and watch it and just trip out, because they have what we start calling high moments or high scenes, where like this scene was designed for somebody that's high. Like this wasn't a regular scene. This wasn't part of a story. They said, let's put this in for the high niggas. When they, when they do extracurricular activities, when they, there's scenes where they, I don't want to ruin it for you, but there are high scenes. There are scenes when you watch and you're like, somebody was high when they made this, and I need to be high when I watch this because this is solely for a high person.
Yeah, it's
the colors and shit.
Yeah, if you're not high when you're watching it, there are going to be moments when you watch it and you're going to be like, I wish I was high when I was watching. You're going to like literally say, even if you're not a smoker, you're going to be like, this would have probably been like, this probably would have blew my mind if I was high. Right. You know, just absolutely gorgeous. Another one that dropped recently, new that I just caught because we're on Netflix now. I don't want to move to other platforms in a second, but America the Motion Picture. It's also on Netflix. It's executive produced by Channing Tatum and a few others. It's got Big Mike in it as one of the main stars, one of the voice actors. It's also a cartoon, but it's
Big Mike or Killer Mike.
Sorry, Killer Mike.
Okay, because I fuck with both of them. I was like, Big Mike.
Nah.
I haven't heard his name in a minute.
Yeah, I mixed that up. It is Killer Mike. But the beauty of this is it's a satirical story of how America was born. So it's really, really interesting.
Okay.
It's really, really interesting.
It's called American. This is a movie or a series?
It's a movie.
Okay. All right, America.
Yeah, it's called America the Motion Picture. It's highly entertaining. You're gonna love it.
So is it fun?
It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious.
So another weed movie, got it.
Yeah. It's definitely another movie where you're going to want to be elevated to truly enjoy the experience.
Now, really quickly, are you watching She-Hulk?
I started watching She-Hulk, but She-Hulk has a Mary Sue problem for me. And it's the same problem. Those of you nerds who know about Star Wars, the new Star Wars movies, and they had this chick who was in the Star Wars movies, and she didn't really have to work for her powers at all. She just all of a sudden was the most powerful Jedi who ever lived, and she never studied anything. She didn't train with anybody. Like all of a sudden, she's just like a superwoman. Like, you know, She-Hulk, and I know I'm not giving a whole lot away here because it was in the first episode, but it really threw me off that much. Like Bruce Banner, the Hulk, he's been the Hulk for like 30 years at this point. She's able to figure out everything it took him 30 years to figure out in their first training session. And that's not hyperbole. That is
literally what happened. Yeah.
I was looking at this like, what the like, that's not possible. I don't give a fuck how bad you are. You can't make up 30 years of training and study and self-exploration in 2 days. Like, what are we doing here? Like, it becomes a bad story to me. And honestly, it diminishes the level of the achievement, because for me, achievement requires struggle. Right. So if everything is easy for you, particularly within the context of a show, then how am I supposed to resonate with that? How am I supposed to vibe with that? You know what I'm saying? How am I supposed to associate with that character? That's what I struggle with.
They give her struggles more in the long term. What up, Berg? I see you tuned in. I did feel a way about that. I was kind of like, but they give her different struggles. It's a different kind of show. And a lot of it is satirical, ironically. They tried to give She-Hulk this satirical Ally McBeal feel.
Yeah.
But she has other struggles. She has more real person struggles. Like, who wants to date her versus who wants to date She-Hulk. One guy likes She-Hulk but don't like her. So they gave her like, what do they call it? Rich people problems, which is different. It's definitely different. But whereas most Marvel characters that we've seen on the screen have, you know, third world problems, they gave her rich people problems. And I can see how that could be a turn off, but they still have the arc. You know what I'm saying? Like one of her biggest problems, which may seem very trivial, was somebody trademarked the name She-Hulk before she could. But it sends her through a spiral, but that's not a real, you know what I'm saying? That's not a, but what I've learned is, you know, like your blues ain't like mine. What I've learned is I'll take this back to when we was kids. I won't say the young lady's name, but C-Mal, I can say C-Mal. Her parents took her credit card when he was like 17. And she was crying and very upset and emotional and couldn't really get calmed down. And I'm like, nigga, you know what I've been through? I found my mother's dead body. Like, you crying over fucking credit? Like, what the fuck? This is weird. And then I went, you know what? I'll just give me a book called Your Blues Ain't Like Mine. And I don't say that in a way where it's like, my blues are worse than yours. It's like, what you consider blues, I wouldn't consider blues. And I think that's what She-Hulk thing is, like what Marvel Universe is presented as blues. Homegirl, Scarlet Witch, losing the love of her life, trying to recreate a family, those were blues to us. And we look at her blues as kind of like,
yeah, that's fair. That is fair, and you know, I'm glad that you said that, because that shows a distinct difference between what has happened with other Mary Sue character, and that's actually a term. Y'all can look it up. Mary Sue. It applies to a character who is just given all of these powers and abilities and is able to surmount all of her obstacles like that. But you're saying that she's not surmounting all of her obstacles like that. Her obstacles are just different than, you know, and that's fair. That's fair.
Burger said, JB still smoking them blacks.
Always, brother. I keep trying to quit, but I keep coming back, man. I can't, you know. I'm
still smoking them too. I just smoke them at a much lower clip than I used to, but you know, for the record, they here.
Believe it or not, I've actually slowed down.
All right, House of the Dragons, JB. The last episode, I watched it one time and was totally confused. I had to call all of my ubiquitous clandestine informants and had them break every part of it down. But I'm caught up. I understand exactly where we are. And it's been a lot. There have been multiple time jumps that have thrown me off. You know, they most recently changed actors for the most recent time jump. And I find, like, it takes me a while to learn a character's name, because in these shows, there's so many important characters.
And they all have these crazy ass names.
Yes, too. I don't know who is who. I'm like, yeah, Rhaenyra did this. I'm like, that guy, I hate that dude. No, that's the princess. Oh, shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, God damn. Like, Aegon, something. I knew that bitch was lying. Aegon is the boy. God damn it. Well, one of them, who the hell are they talking about? But I will fast forward if you haven't seen it. This is spoiler alert. So you might fast forward 3 or 4 minutes ahead. The uncle ultimately, you've seen the most recent episode.
I've seen, yeah.
Okay. And you knew the story before this. So the uncle and Rhaenyra's marrying, I expected. They're like the Proctors of DC. We know their whole incest thing. We know what's going on. And shout out to all the Proctors. I'm not mad at y'all. I'm just saying that y'all are the Targaryens of the DMV, respectfully. So I saw that coming at some point. Her husband leaving, when he cut his hair and got in the boat, I didn't know who that was in the boat. So I missed that whole thing. Hold on, dude, leaving with some dude in the boat, some boy he got. And then I realized that, no, that's the dreadhead nigga. That's the husband. That's the whatever. So he left. He's not technically dead, but I guess he faked his death because he wanted to live his best gay life out in the world and shit. And I see that that can be a formidable two. Rhaenyra and the uncle can be that is a match. Like she was kind of outmatched by the queen and a few others. Now she got a soldier with her. So I think that's going to be key. I don't know the story, but I feel like that's a game changer. The queen, I kept going back and forth between she's sweet, she's trying to be the good person, but Rhaenyra is shitting on her and playing her and not telling her the truth. But like when Rhaenyra said, like, they see you now, I was there. She's on my new. She was like, New sees you now, bitch. New see you. He's no longer on your side. He see you. And yeah, I see her. The kids were ultra aggressive, and I didn't quite understand it. But I think it was all best summed up with homie like, yeah, I lost the eye, but I got a dragon. And I think that's going to propel the kid story because he was the one that was bullied. He was the one that didn't have shit and the one that they all attacked. But he was also the one that had the balls to go get that and the foresight. Because I think the most important thing, well, bravery, of course, but he had the foresight. I want a dragon. I'm going to get a dragon. I'm sure they all were like, you should get dragon. Because am I right or wrong? The other kids don't have dragons either. Or do they? Does everybody have a dragon but him?
No, none of them have dragons currently.
Right. So he had the foresight to go get the dragon before anybody else could think to do it. And he was winning all the fights. Until dude pulled out the knife. And,
yeah, it was that one. That one was a little wild. But
Brooke said, the husband wanted to be out to sea being gay. Hey, I ain't mad at him, man. Whatever floats your boat, literally. It's out to sea, floats your boat. See what I did there? See what I did there?
Yeah, I dug this one because I'm gonna be real with y'all. Like the first episodes struck me as being a little slow from a Game of Thrones kind of perspective, just because the plot wasn't moving fast enough. And I know that so much more is supposed to happen in this particular timeline. So now they've gotten kind of to the good part of what's going to happen, because shit is going to get a whole lot crazier now that Rhaenyra and Daemon are married, now that the Queen and Rhaenyra are officially recognized as enemies. Like a whole lot of shit is going to change.
What's the king's name?
The king's name is Viserys.
Viserys been dying since episode 1. That motherfucker died for like 80 years.
Yeah, he's starting to look like the Crypt Keeper now. This motherfucker, like he not looking so good. Yeah, he's gonna die soon. It's gonna cause a fraction in the kingdom. There's going to be a civil war. It's going to be horrible, and it's going to basically ultimately lead to the downfall of the Targaryen dynasty. Because one thing about dynasties that people don't really understand is that, you know, they look at it as like a single line, like one father, child, or father, daughter. That's not how you build a dynasty, because you can't do that shit. Because you can't guarantee that each one of them kings is going to have, a son or a daughter, right? So you need a dynasty to be a family, a big ass family. That's why old kings back and sultans and emperors back in the day used to have harems, right? Because if one son dies, you got another one on deck to carry on the lineage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the dragon owners died. It's based 200 years before the Game of Thrones. Right. That's why he wanted the king and marry his daughter. Exactly. And I think that a lot of that has to do with, like, if you look at, I guess, having the family and everybody, trying to, what about this one? He should be next. What about this one? What about this nephew? What about this niece? What about the brother? The brother thought that he should be next in line. Damon thought he should be next. And, it's all the Game of Thrones. I can't be next. My brother ain't fucking with me right now. He's welcoming me back in, but he ain't really fucking with me. But if I'm marrying my niece,
I'm in there.
Because
she's the heir.
Like, she's the heir, and I'm the heir, the heir's
Prince
dick.
Consort, yep.
Yeah. She didn't call him the Prince Consort.
Yeah, but you said, that's what it is, though. It's the Queen's dick. Yeah, that's what it is.
I was going to name this episode, Kanye West doesn't care about black people. I might name this the Queen's dick.
Oh my God!
No, you named this episode after yourself, Jeff. I
believe in conspicuous consumption.
Really?
If you have it, flaunt it.
Really?
Flaunt it.
I mean, it's getting more fun though, and it's gonna get more exciting in the subsequent episodes. So stay tuned, man. It's gonna be better.
Virgo just said she not the air no more. Aegon is. Did something happen? Or Argon it? Ain't nothing happen?
Not yet. No, she is still the heir. She is still the heir. Now, that is going to be a matter of contention. And I actually think it's one of the really, really nice reoccurring themes that they keep bringing up over and over again on the show, on how, this society is so caught up in its male toxicity that just the fact, just the inclination that a woman might take power is enough to start a war, right? Like just the inclination of it is enough to start a war. Y'all,
what's the black people called? The black family?
The Valerians.
Are they're not the Greys?
No, they're the Valerians.
Their hair is gray. Yeah, the Valerians. They woofing, they beefing about it. And
everybody is.
Shorty, the Queen's father. What are they?
The Queen's father?
They're the
the High Towers.
Who the fuck is the Lannisters?
The Lannisters are not an important part of this show at all. The Lannisters have nothing to do with what's going on right now. The Lannisters are an important house in this world, the same way the Starks are, but they are not a part of what's going on in the inner circle.
Have they mentioned the Starks yet?
We had one Stark that we saw in, I believe it was episode 2, when when Viserys named Rhaenyra his heir. Rickon Stark, who is the head of House Stark at this particular time, swore fealty to her as the princess heir. And that's the only Stark that we have met in this entire season so far.
Burger, I think you 2 episodes behind, man. You still talking about this old shit. Shit didn't change. Like they overlooked the king's sister and chose him. The king's sister, we ain't talking about the king's sister. We're talking about the princess. The princess is the heir.
Yeah, Rhaenyra Targaryen is now the heir to the Iron Throne.
Burger on episode 2, like y'all niggas ain't, like nigga on episode 5.
Yeah, we're actually on episode 7.
Yeah, we're on episode 7. Burger, catch up, damn it. Holding up the podcast.
He said I'm
And if you want to participate and watch us live, you can do so on YouTube Wednesdays at 7:30. And then, of course, when we do other episodes, Kickback Sports, Kickback Conversations. I got a Kickback After Dark coming up tonight. I wasn't going to go live, but I think I am. I'm going to let y'all watch Kickback After Dark. We're talking about everything. I'm telling you. Sex stories, it's going to be a conversation. And it's with a beautiful young lady who's an excellent businesswoman. So this isn't just, I didn't go grab, Joe Blow or Tina Bina. I grabbed somebody who's very successful in business that also says, hey, yeah, I do this in business, but when I'm not doing business, I still handle my business. So y'all love that shit. And that's coming up in probably about another half hour. So we about to wrap this thing up. But I can't say who it is, Bernie. I can't say who it is. Not yet. But I tell you what, if it was Malika, you would have known. I'll put it that way. And no, she's a okay. And she know her sports. And, we had Curry Champion on the show before. But Malika, I don't want to disrespect her, so I ain't gonna say what I was about to say. I'll just say that I appreciate her mind, body, and soul. That was a good way to put it, right?
That's the best way to put it.
Boom, boom. So House of the Dragons, I'm loving. I am almost enjoying this as much as Game of Thrones. It is still my most look forward to show of the week. But it isn't quite there, but it doesn't have to be. This isn't I don't think like it ain't as good as the album. I'm not, it's nothing negative. It's just as of right now, I'm not enjoying it as much, but I am enjoying it so much. So I don't want that to be, I'm not doing a comparison. This ain't as good as, I mean, I don't think it is, but I'm loving it, so it don't matter.
Well, I mean, and to be fair, you know, you comparing 8 years of history to, 2 months of it, it's not,
right.
It's not a fair, it's not a fair baseline. For me personally, I feel like this as a first season in what could be another dynasty for HBO, I feel like this offering needs to pick up the pace a little bit.
And I think they're trying to establish this foundation, and that's why they're doing the time jumps. I feel like season 1 is, they think they have enough trust with the audience, which I think they do, that they can give you the foundation, do these huge time jumps, and by the last episode of season 1, going into season 2, that's when the shit starts.
Yeah. So I'm going to comment on what Berger just said, because he said, I want to see how it's going to intervene with Game of Thrones. You've actually already seen that. You've already seen that in 2 places. One, the knife. Literally the knife. The knife that cut Rhaenyra Targaryen, the knife that Viserys Targaryen carries around, that is the knife from the Game of Thrones. The knife that they used to try and kill Brandon Starks, and they said was Tyrion Lannisters and blah, 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 the Valyrian steel. That is the same knife.
Wow.
It is the exact same knife. And he states specifically why he carries Valyrian steel on his person.
Because of the future. What's going to happen
exactly.
in the future.
He ties it directly to the Game of Thrones. Okay.
So,
I got you, Berger. We'll get you up to speed, brother. We'll get you up to speed.
And a lot of this, I didn't read any of the books. I didn't know anything about it until like season 5 of Game of Thrones when I started watching. So I was totally out of the loop. But I have a plethora of nerds with attitude and gangster geeks around me that I can, hey, what the hell does this mean right here? Hey, what that boss say? Hey, what's going on right here? I done gone back to people that I ain't spoke to in years. Like, hey, man, explain this. What happened on this episode? You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Like, so what happened again?
But Shannon, to answer your question, the reason why I remember all of this is because I'm a fucking nerd. I study this shit like a lot. Like a lot. Like I watched probably twice as much TV before House of the Dragon, preparing for the House of the Dragon, than I did watch the House of the Dragon.
YouTube videos.
Yeah, by the way, there are a ton of YouTube videos out there, and they're actually narrated by the original Game of Thrones staff. I mean, the original Game of Thrones cast. They are produced by HBO.
And I'm gonna tell you, I understand now that the term nerd has changed, and it doesn't mean what it meant when we were growing up. A nerd is someone who obsesses over something and studies it. So I would be a nerd for sports. I would be a nerd for sex. I would be a nerd for music. So whatever you deep dive into, I'm a nerd for Black people. The advancement of the Black race. I'm a nerd for that. And I never consider myself a nerd. I've never been called a nerd. But now I understand in 2022, I'm a nerd for a lot of shit.
Yeah,
I'm a nerd for romantic comedies. Whatever.
Nah, I mean real nigga shit, because you are intimately knowledgeable of a lot of, particularly on sports and hip hop and music, that I am not. Which is how we're able to complement each other so well particularly on this podcast, because we can cover a broad range of topics and have expertise on all of them. Right. Berger, just to answer your question, they are all on YouTube. If you just put in Game of Thrones, History of the Targaryens, you will find them.
You called me Oedipus Rex ass nigga, but that's because when we was in Playmakers, I went and Melissa told us Oedipus Rex. I went back to the hood and was like, I got to tell you this story. It's Oedipus Rex. It's a Greek tragedy. And Berger was like, nigga, are you telling us some Greek story? Nigga, were you in college today? Why the fuck are you telling us about some old, nigga, we uptown, we on 4th and Delafield right now, and you coming into the middle of the room and talking to us about some goddamn Shakespeare shit. Do we look like we want to hear some Shakespeare shit? But I tell you what, Berger typed his name, spelled it right, and he remembered the story.
Yeah, he didn't spell it correctly, but
But my point is,
he knew
who
that
Oedipus Rex is.
he knew it.
Right. He knew what the hell. He know the story.
Yeah, that's one of the greatest stories of all time.
10, 11 years old, coming back to the OGs, like, I gotta tell y'all niggas something. Let me tell y'all niggas about this Shakespeare play. And they're like, is this nigga really talking to us about a Shakespeare play?
Yeah.
Keep him in the house.
Yeah.
Don't let him come outside today.
It's a great play. I mean, technically it was written by Aeschylus, one of the first Greek. Never mind.
I thought that's a Shakespeare play.
No, it is not.
Google it. Somebody Google Oedipus Rex and who wrote it.
No, it is not.
Google it. Just Google it.
I
could be wrong. I would probably be wrong because you are the gangster geek. So if you say it's not, then 9 times out of 10 you're right. But I always thought it was Shakespeare.
No, it's much, much older than that. Much, much older than that. Shakespeare was famous
Why do I think that's Shakespeare?
Not sure.
I don't know. So I would agree with JB. Yeah. So I'm not a nerd for Shakespeare. I'm a nerd for Tupac. See how that works? I ain't know. We're about to get into
Actually, yeah, it was a play written by Sophocles. I got the name wrong. Sophocles written first performance in 429 BC.
God damn.
Yeah, that's a little before.
Oh, ancient Greek.
Yeah, it's a little before
Shakespeare was ancient Greek. But I said, I gotta leave to you.
Yeah, Shakespeare, yeah, Elizabethan.
So we're gonna get into. I know why Shannon here. Did she spell it right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at little songbird. Okay. We're gonna get into the topic. This is why she here. She want to talk about this. She want to chime in on this, and this is our this or that segment of the week. And I gotta vote it down because YouTube try to sue us whenever we play it. So this or that this week was based on a video that I saw today, and I saw it, and I don't want to go into too much in detail on the video, but it was talking about loving someone through their healing and the challenges that comes with loving someone through their healing. Excuse me. And by healing, I mean getting over past traumas. And they may not be over those traumas, so they may react to you in a PTSD way, or in a way where you experience their traumas. And he was saying, I'm going to love you through it all. And, no judgment. I'm going to be here and I'm going to navigate that as best I can because I want you to know what forever feels like. So I ain't going nowhere. We're going to figure it out. You're not going to scare me off. I thought that was a beautiful notion. I also thought that could be toxic. And without further elaboration on that, I'll just ask the question to you kickbackers, to you, JB, and to myself. We all know we could love someone after they've healed. My question is that the only way you could love someone? So the this or that is, could you love someone through their healing? Or is it a matter of I can only love someone after they have healed? So could you love them through their healing, knowing, what that entails? Or is it a matter of no, I can only love someone after they've healed? Come to me healed. Did I word that right, Jimmy?
Yeah, you definitely did. And allow me to answer first, because I want to say that I could love someone through their healing. But I don't know that my past history has proven that out, quite frankly. Okay. And I'm just being totally and completely honest, because, you fall in love with someone, you get in a committed relationship, and, things change, problems arise, things happen. And there are going to be moments of trauma. There are going to be moments that are traumatic that cause friction in the relationship. Because one of the things that we have to learn about ourselves is that when we are stressed, when we are in trouble, when we are hurting, the first thing we do, and I don't believe that it is always done intentionally. I don't believe that it is always done intentionally, but one of the first things that happens when that trauma happens is we don't turn to our partner. We actually turn on our partner. And
bars.
And that is where the problems start. And as you are battling through that trauma, you always find yourself asking a question. Is this too much? Is this too much for me to take? And so, there are going to be two key factors, in my opinion, right now that keep me in that situation. Number one, is accountability going both ways? Is accountability going both ways in terms of dealing with whatever that trauma is? Because yes, being in trauma, being under stress, having problems can cause you to do painful and sometimes even abusive things to your partner. The question is, do you love that partner in the midst of your crisis such that you can be accountable for their feelings, right? Because we all react emotionally, right? We all kirk the fuck out. We all curse and cuss and fuss and, want to break shit sometimes. But if that partner turns around to you and says, look, I'm not the one you're mad at. I got you. I'm here with you. Let's talk about this. For me, the decision point becomes, how does the person who is traumatized react to that? Because that's supposed to be the signal. You yelling at the wrong motherfucker right now. You cussing at the wrong motherfucker right now. You are not mad at me, So why are you expressing this anger at me? Expressing anger to me is one thing. Expressing anger at me is another thing. Right. And that's where it becomes a decision point, because self-preservation always has to be arguably the most important component of love. The adage always goes out, you can't love somebody else unless you love yourself. People always say that, but they don't really articulate what that means. That means you have to love yourself enough to stand up to your partner, number one, when they go down that road. And if it becomes abusive, then you have to make a self-preservative decision at some point. That has to happen.
You got to love yourself enough to leave. And I do want to say that when I initially heard it, I don't want to play it because I don't want to sway everybody, because it was such beautifully worded that everybody may not.
Somebody's calling. That was weird.
Oh, people act like they don't know the podcast switched to goddamn Wednesday. I don't understand what's going on. But when I heard it, I looked at it like, this is beautiful. And then I was like, wait, this could be toxic. This could be toxic. And I looked at that as based, and I base it, you may base it differently, but I base it on who you're dealing with. Because I've literally been in situations where I'm gonna love you, like JB song, I'm gonna love you through it all.
Oh, wow. Oh my God. I forgot that chord wasn't that long. Chord used to be longer than that.
Yeah, like I can love you through it all. If the ultimate reward is, the relationship, the love, you can be there for somebody. You can play that role that was loving them through their healing, and they just take advantage of you throughout that process. So that's one thing. I do think that loving somebody through their healing, I've loved many people through their and I've been loved by many people through my healing. So it is a noble concept. It is a concept that makes sense to me. It is a concept that I champion, to be quite honest, because that's how I treat people I love. You're going through a healing space. You can get mad at me. You can yell. You can be difficult. You can be distant. I'm going to love you through all of that. And I think I've shown that. But there is an example where that can be taken advantage of. And what had got my mind going was like, when love is quote unquote unconditional, in those situations, it can be taken advantage of. And that made me kind of like pause, like, I like what he's saying. I like this concept, and I don't think this the wrong way, anybody, but I look at myself as a Jesus figure, meaning that I go to the downtrodden, I go to the people that have the worst circumstances. I root for the underdogs. I let people that aren't in the best light in their lives all the time kick it, because I feel like I can help. I feel like my love, my advice, my coaching, my counseling is going to be of a benefit. And sometimes, people use your desire to help as a way to get something they want from you. And it's not a reciprocal relationship. They're just going, oh, I don't know, let's do something very frivolous. Oh, this nigga got a podcast and he trying to help me some. Yeah, I'm going to use him for the podcast. And so people will be good to you so they can use you. Mm-hmm. And that is something that I never fully accepted, that people will be good to you. People will be what appears to be sincere and earnest to you because they know you're around all the pretty girls and they want to be around the pretty girls. So they're going to do whatever they can to prove to you that they're with you so that they can hang with you and the pretty girls. And that's not a romantic relationship, of course, but then women will do, maybe they just want to have sex. Maybe they have fun with you every Friday. They don't want to lose their Friday. So they'll show you what appears to be real and it ain't. So when you go, I'm going to love you no matter what. You could have a bad mood. You could be distant. You could do this. You could do that. I see an area of opportunity where you can be taken advantage of. It hasn't changed who I am. It hasn't changed how I move, but it made me question parameters, boundaries, which I talked about a lot on this podcast. It makes you question your boundaries you set. And I think it makes you look at everything with a discerning eye. But could I love someone through their healing? I've done it. I continue to do it. I will do it. I don't have an issue with it. But I know I don't want to put that out blatantly without saying it. Sometimes you got to watch yourself. I want to give that caveat. And of course, I can love someone after their healing. I don't have a preference. I'm going to love. I'm big on love. I'm going to love regardless. But I'm not going to be stupid.
Well, and, I'm glad you said that because, you talked about specifically loving through the healing, right? In order to heal, you have to make yourself accountable. If I cut my arm, right, and I don't get the shit stitched up, if I don't change my bandages, guess what? The shit is going to get infected, and I'm going to lose my arm. Why? Because I didn't take care of my arm. Right. If I'm in an emotional crisis and I'm dealing with some stuff, if I don't maintain accountability to my friends and to my loved ones for my actions, then I'm not really trying to heal. And that's the difference, right? So, there's loving someone through their healing as long as they're healing. But if they're no longer healing, then they're using you because they're not even trying to heal, right? And I think that's an important distinction.
What the hell song we're talking about? She said, being able to love someone through their healing comes with understanding that although you're yelling at me, you're not angry with me. So I'll let you express yourself the way you need to. See, now I need a woman like that in my life because my voice One, my voice deep as hell, raspy as hell, and then I'm loud as hell. I'm like, you yelling at me. I'm like, I'm talking. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm not yelling. I'm talking, mom. And she'll meet you where you are, without making it about me. That's deep. And nothing is worse than losing someone willing to genuinely love you through your healing and not for their gain. I don't know if I've gone through that. I lost someone that was truly willing to love me through my healing and not for gain. I guess for something I did, I guess. Well, no, I guess cheating, that might count. But I was a kid. I don't know about that one. Let's see. Exactly. If they're using you, they are actively healing. I agree with that. I agree with that one.
Yeah, I mean that's the big point, and that's where it becomes a matter of self-preservation. I'm not just going to let you dog me out so you can maintain your addiction, your self-delusion, your whatever the fuck it is.
I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to put the comments up. I just did that by accident.
Yeah, you hit the button again. Hit it again. Now click it and it'll show.
Well, yeah, I just didn't know how to do it.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Because whenever we do, I get on Smee's live, he always does that, puts the comments up. And I ain't even know how to do that shit. And I just happened to be pushing buttons and was like, oh shit, it's on the screen.
Same page, Songbird. We on the same page.
Same page, exactly. So I think that where we are with, I think we all believe we can love someone through their healing as long as they continue healing. Sums it up?
Yeah, that's a good way to sum it up.
All right. Well, let's get into some music and see what's out right now that people can listen to. JB, you gonna like this one. You got your headphones ready?
This is a fantastic album, man. Let me borrow it.
No, my brother. You got to buy your own.
No, my brother.
Oh my God. How many times did we say that shit in high school?
Oh, that's the greatest commercials in the history. I'm playing one more time for y'all. If you're old enough to remember this damn commercial.
This is a fantastic album, man. Let me borrow it.
No, my brother. You got to buy your own.
So, new music that's out. Of course, you can always listen to the the Pod Name Kickback playlist on Apple Music that is updated every single Friday. I'm gonna tell you, Freddie Gibbs has a masterful album out. It's just good. Freddie Gibbs gets on my nerves sometimes with all his other antics. The album is fucking good, man. I'm gonna keep it 100. Division has a new single, which is featuring Jagged Edge, and y'all know I love Jagged Edge because they say I look like the twins in Jagged Edge. So actually, I'm on the song. It's me and my triplet brothers from Jagged Edge. We are on Division's new single. Y'all go check that shit out. Depending on where you are in your traumas, Tory Lanez has a new album out. And it's pretty good. It's decent. It's worth a listen. I stopped listening to him because the story that he shot Megan Thee Stallion and it just turned me off.
Right.
But then the more facts come out, conjecture comes out that we actually get. It seems like maybe he didn't. And I don't want to say he didn't because I don't want to shit on a black woman because we don't know what happened. But right now, with the information that's been released, I am on the fence. So I did listen to a couple of his songs.
Okay.
And it sounded decent. I have not heard YG's new album. He has an whole album out. I haven't heard it yet, but it's out. And I'm going to be adding some of the newer songs from all of those artists to the playlist on this Friday. I was a little late. I needed a mental health week. I've been just doing me. But I will go back and add some of these songs. And as we get up out of here, JB, our Cowboys, my Cowboys played your Commanders. What was your biggest takeaway from that game and the NFC East?
The NFC East is playing really well right now in general, but the Commanders are not. it just is what it is. Like, you know, the defense is suspect right now. I still have a lot of worries about their offensive line right now. You know, they got some work to do. Simply put. I don't know that whoever comes out of the East Division is going to go very far in the playoffs right now, considering some of the other competition that we see in the NFC right now, because there are a few teams, you know, a couple of teams in the NFC who are playing really well, and
Vikings,
the Packers are playing pretty well right now.
The Bucs are decent. The Rams are decent.
But they're just all more talented teams than the teams we're looking at in the
Sure. You seen the Eagles?
Yeah, I mean the
They're
Eagles
the only
are doing
undefeated team in the league.
Yeah, they're doing big things right now, but I just don't believe it yet. You know, I don't believe.
With you. I want to see what they do to the Cowboys.
Yeah,
I want to see if they beat our ass or if it's a close game or if we win. So I'm with you on that. I can't give it to them yet. I can't give them the division or the NFC. You see me and Jeremy talking about it earlier. The Cowboys, we have a lot of injuries, including our quarterback. We're 3-1, second best record in the entire NFL. I'm not hitching my wagon to my team either, because the defense travels. So no matter what's going on, if you have a pass rush and you have a ball hawking cornerback, you can have some success. I want to see what we do this week against the Rams, who are not like they were last year when they won the Super Bowl. They're not as good, but they're a great litmus test for us. And then after that, we get the 4-0 Eagles. That's a good litmus test for us. So after these next 2 weeks, I'll decide the quote-unquote fate of the Cowboys.
Can we talk about how amazing the NFL has been this season so far, though? Like, every game is like, gone down to, the last possession.
That Dolphins-Ravens game is my favorite game of the year.
Oh, yeah. That was a great game.
That shit was crazy.
That was a great ball game.
It was
crazy. That was a great ball game. Great ball game. You watch two quarterbacks really just show the fuck off. You know?
Two black quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Well,
no doubt.
Would you consider is two black?
He ain't white.
Boom.
I mean, I don't know what the hell you call him, but you can definitely call him a non-white quarterback, and that's just what the fuck it is,
Look at the little sensitive Raven fan. She's still healing. I'm going to love you through your healing. Love you through your healing. But the Bills. The Bills look crazy. Great. I think they had one stumble, but they just looked amazing. I'm upset. Well, one, I'm upset for Tua and prayers and positive energy for Tua.
That shit scared the shit out of me.
When I saw his hands do that, my mom was like, your fingers can't really do that. Like, I can't voluntarily do what his hands did. So it led me to believe, like, were their bones broken?
I thought he broke his hand.
To make his, he didn't do it intentionally. I don't mean to imply that, but how were his fingers able to make that motion?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he fucked all his fingers up. And they're not reporting that. So I think that's just an involuntary.
That's exactly what it was.
Reflex from brain trauma.
That's exactly what it was.
That made it even scarier.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love football. I know the risks. I know the wrongs. I know the rights. It's just a life. But that made me want to say, don't play no more, dog. Like, I got love for you and whoever your family is and your future wife and your future kids, and I want you to have that. And it really made me like squeamish, like, damn.
That was scary.
I know he's going to try to come back. We all know he's going to try to come back.
Scary stuff, though. Scary stuff. I saw it.
Did we let him? Like, do you let a player come back?
I mean, it looked like he had a micro seizure on the field because, like you, when I first saw it, I thought he had landed. Like, I thought his helmet hit his hand and broke his hand all to pieces. So when he raised his hand like that, I thought he was like, oh my God, my hand is broke. But then I looked up and saw it was both of his hands. And I was like, oh, that's
neurological.
Yeah, that's like a seizure. That's bad, and so you got to look at what's going on with the league and this whole chronic traumatic encephalitis thing, or CTE, that has caused long-term problems for players even after they've retired. And you got to ask yourself, do some more changes need to be made in the league? Yes, they're working on better equipment. Yes, they're working on better head equipment, to protect the players' heads and their necks and so on. But, it's an extremely violent sport. It's an unbelievably violent sport. And so you have to ask yourself, is it worth it for these players to have these long and damaging careers like that? It's just really scary stuff, man.
I wish him the best.
Absolutely.
I do believe he's coming back, of course. He had his team with the best record in the league, looking like world beaters. And we just going to see.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA preseason, the Wizards, I addressed this on Kickback Sports the other day, but the Wizards played the Golden State Warriors in Japan, did 2 games. And the first game, everybody looked like they was just tired and jet lagged. Like, they just got off the jet. Steph Curry was like 1 for 7 from 3. The Wizards shot 17% from 3, and the Warriors shot 26% from 3. Everybody looked bad. They had pockets where everybody, people look good. I like what the Wizards did. They started Rui, which isn't the resounding thought of who's going to start this year, but it was in Japan. You got to start him. You know what I'm saying? He's their biggest export as far as an NBA player. So they look good in game 2. Looked like Rui is ready to step into the starting lineup. We'll see if he does, but he looked like he was ready. And the Warriors, they look scarier. Their first-round pick from 2 years ago, center that was injured, came back and dogged the Wizards. And this guy is a top 2 pick at the center spot, their weakest position.
Wow.
So they have
that's a good thing.
Arguably the best center over the last 2 drafts coming back. I think they're bringing him off the bench, but to star. That's scary. Give the Golden State Warriors a 20-10 guy in the middle. Come on.
That is scary. I mean, you got to expect them to play bad, having traveled, literally around the world to perform in Japan. So, there's probably a little coldness, a little rustiness that, factored into the quality of the play that you saw, and that happens all the time. I mean, you can look at the game that was played in London last week in the NFL, and that game was sloppy too. It's just, when they travel like that, it just kind of fucks up the program a little bit,
Factory. Interesting thing before we get out of here. LeBron was asked, have you given much thought to the fact that you're going to break Kareem's record this year, without injury, of course? And what is your relationship with Kareem? He said, I haven't thought about the record, and I have no relationship with him. But Kareem been talking shit about LeBron. He been talking shit, taking his little old man shots. I think it's jealousy. I think he's upset that LeBron's about to break his record. But I do want them to, LeBron's a Laker now.
Talk it out. Talk it out.
Jerry West, Magic, Genie, Bus. Somebody get together and squash that beef. Oh, and speaking of Lakers, on Hulu, not the TV show, which is on HBO called Winning Time, which is amazing. It is fantastic. The only bad thing about it is the Lakers didn't improve it. But they have all the Lakers players, every player from every team. It is an excellent show. It is my favorite new show of the year called Winning Time on HBO Max. Their response to that, the Lakers' response to that, is a documentary that takes you from the beginning, and the next episode is going to be the LeBron era. So they're going through the Wilt Chamberlain. It starts from the Jerry Buss took over the team. So it's Magic's rookie season with Kareem. They won a ring all the way up to what I've seen, all the way up to the Kobe by himself without Shaq era. And I hate to say it this way, but at this point of the documentary, Kobe is passed. So the next episode will be the LeBron era. And it's probably the final episode, I would think. So it's great. The TV show is great, even though the Lakers don't approve of it. It is fucking phenomenal. If they bring it back for 20 more seasons, I'm watching. That is how good this show is. It's showing you Magic, Kareem, Jerry Buss, Jeannie Buss, Cookie. It is showing you all of that. It's my favorite new show of this year. I think I said that. It's my favorite new show. But the documentary, just as good. So check that out. The documentary is called Legacy. It is on Hulu. The TV show is called Winning Time, and it's on HBO Max. Just fucking great content, man. Just fucking great. Burger talking about name. Yeah,
basketball.
Preseason AD, that first game, he had a double-double in 18 minutes. He had 20 and 10 in 18 minutes.
Damn.
I think he's going to, well, we never know. But it looks like he's going to step it up. And AD said that LeBron told him it's his team now, and he has to lead the way. LeBron, 96 years old, he can't do it. So if AD's saying he is taking that responsibility, and he's running with it. Like you said, Burger, if he does, we'll see.
No doubt. No doubt. Looking forward to this season, man. Looking forward to it.
Hell yeah. I want to thank y'all for tuning in to our 200th episode as a podcast. Now, it's been about damn near 500 episodes because it was internet radio, internet TV, Periscope show, Facebook Live show. Then it became a podcast. So this show has been on for 10 plus years, 10 and a half years. I want to thank the people that have been listening in 2012. And I want to thank the people that just tuned in today for the first fucking time. And I want to thank the people who only joined when it became a podcast on podcast sites 3-4 years ago, something like that. Thank you. I posted today that this podcast has been streamed in over 50 countries. You know how crazy that is? There's niggas from DC, doing podcasts and from Atlanta, and it's in 50 plus countries. We had 50 countries a minute ago, by the way. It has been a pleasure. There have been a plethora of hosts. Appreciate you, JB, coming back tonight for this big episode.
No doubt, man. It was a lot of fun. Man. I looking forward to see what happens with your new season, man. I know you're gonna be bringing guests in from time to time, so you're gonna have a lot of interesting, different conversations. So it should be nice to see things progress and evolve, man. It's been a long time,
Hell yeah. And don't forget, we're doing Kickback Sports. So there'll be a sports-only episode doing Kickback Conversations. That'll be one-on-one. Burger, get you in here. Shannon, get you in here. One-on-one conversations. And then there's Kickback After Dark. I get to tell you about all the sex toys. Well, never mind. So anyway, and then, of course, the regular pod named Kickback. The regular pod named Kickback. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for all the support. If you watch live, I love you. I appreciate you. You make the show because your comments help direct the flow of the show. So when you watch live, thank you. And if you want to watch live, you can do so on our Facebook page, but please do so on our YouTube channel, which is a pod named Kickback. That's where the money is. That's where we can monetize. So I'm not mad at you however you watch live, but if you watch live on our YouTube page,
Make sure to like and subscribe because that also helps the algorithm. That'll help this show move up to the top of the list in your timelines on YouTube in terms of your YouTube videos. And yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good night and God bless.
Uno. We out. It's a pod named JB. Oh, you gotta do it.
It's a pod named Kickback. A pod named Kickback. It's like a Tribe Called Quest. You say the whole thing.